Now, even though the United States and the Soviet Union were basically, trying to measure up each other and making sure that they had a strong military and that they were ready for war at the drop of a hat. Well, we also were dealing with a race with the Soviet Union in terms of space. And the Soviet Union actually got the best of us there with the launch of Sputnik 1. And this caught the United States severely off guard, as many people in government thought that the Soviet Union was not that sophisticated enough, to be honest with you. They thought, oh no, they're not going to be investing in science. They weren't going to be really investing in a strong space program or in a strong missile program. Well, with the launch of Sputnik, that certainly opened our eyes, as now they were able to successfully transmit a signal from the ground to the satellite that was in space. And so the United States is like, well, if they can launch a satellite into space, they certainly can launch missiles with nuclear arms attached to these missiles, and they could reach our cities. And that brought a lot of fear, and they said, hey, we got to do something about this. The Soviet Union is now more scientifically advanced than we thought. We need to make sure that we're in par and exceed them. And so the United States, they created what we now know as NASA. And so NASA, that's based in Houston, is our space program. And so the space program now is able to focus on launching our own satellites, launching our own astronauts into space, and started to discuss space exploration. And so it wasn't just NASA that needed to be created. The United States also felt that our youth was not learning enough mathematics and science. And so for many of you students out there, if you wonder why you have to take Algebra 1, Algebra 2, chemistry, or other sciences and mathematics, you're like, what am I needing this for? Well, this was done in 1958 as part of the National Defense Education Act. All right, and I'm not sure if I have the name correctly, but it's somewhere along those lines. It deals with defense and education, and in 1958, they wanted our youth to focus more on mathematics, expand our knowledge on mathematics and sciences, and that's why you have to take these classes now in high school. And so because of that, you can't say that it wasn't successful, because we were able to create a lot more scientists, a lot more mathematicians, and they were able to expand that knowledge and use it to build and be innovators. And so it did work. And so with the race in space, the United States was able to win the space race, you could say symbolically, when we landed on the moon in 1969, as there was a rush to land on the moon and maybe even look at it as a form of colonization, in the future. And so we were able to land on the moon in 1969 and show that we had the capability, we had the technology, we had the skills to reach a place that no one had ever reached before. And so this was significant and prideful to this country.